too. I'm in Raleigh. What part? Hey, Toronto. Hey, Toronto. I've been to Toronto before. I'm actually from Rochester, New York. Japan. Hey, Japan. Yes, God. Yes, God. All around the world. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes, God. All right. I'm going to get into it. I just need to make sure that my technical stuff is set up properly. West Palm Beach. Hey, West Palm Beach. Winston-Salem. Okay. Chicago. Hey, Chicago. Praise God. How's everyone's summer going so far? Anybody done anything amazing or spectacular? What is going on this summer for y'all? My little ones just came back from a 4-H camp, which was nice and fun. I used to go to 4-H camp when I was young. It was so fun. All right. Let's see. Hey, girl. Hey, Just Raya. All right. So I can confirm that by going to my YouTube page and then seeing if I'm showing as live, maybe? No, I feel like I should be able to see that now. Oh, I am live. Okay, let's see. Hold up. Praise God. Okay, so we're live on YouTube too. All right, awesome. Awesome, awesome. Raleigh, hey girl. Yes, God. Raleigh. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Megan and I own the brand Yes God Wellness. I left teaching to transition into a new career. That's wonderful. That's amazing. Yes, God. I love to hear when folks are leaning into what they really enjoy, because that is the foundation of living a life in flow. My name is Megan. I am the founder and CEO of Yes God Wellness, which is a holistic health brand dedicated to healing naturally mind, body, and spirit. And today I want to talk about the number one mistake, the number one manifestation mistake that high achievers make specifically. If you're a high achieving person, woman specifically, you have probably tried things like journaling, affirming, scripting, all types of different techniques to manifest what it is that you desire. And I have done the same thing. I have done the vision boards and I have done I just let somebody go live with me on TikTok and I didn't mean to. And I don't know how to get out of it. Hold on, y'all. I like the music though. Hey. How I got in this TikTok live, y'all. But hey. How do I? No, I don't want to end my live. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just turn TikTok down. I'm gonna turn TikTok down so I'm not tempted by the music. Okay, so I don't know how I ended up in TikTok live. Anyways, so to say that basically, you know, I have done the things, right? And a lot of us have done the things, right? And we're told by society that if you do the things, right, you will get a certain result. That is how most of us have been raised, is to believe that our results are tied to our action. Okay. So I love this TikTok. Yes, 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 yes. We believe that our results are tied to our action. Hola. Hey, Lily. I love you. I miss you. And so what happens is we start making decisions about what we're going to do based on the reaction or the result that we think it's going to bring us, right? And so that starts to turn into something that typically creates anxiety, right? It creates pressure, it creates tension, it creates all types of suffering internally, right? Can you hear me on TikTok? Hey, I don't know how I got in this live with you. I just accepted something. I'm like doing something completely different. And I don't know how to get out of this without ending my live. But I like that music you was playing though. That was I can't hear you. Okay, so I'm not gonna mess with Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it down. I think that what's gonna end up happening is they're just gonna have to leave. Hey Stephanie, hey. Thank you all so much for joining this live. Um, Sorry, there's like a little bit of a technical malfunction on TikTok. I went to go live there and then someone joined my live and I don't know how to get out of that, but so if you're on TikTok and you see me sharing the screen, this was not intentional, but I don't want to turn the I guess I could end it and then restart it. But actually I think that's what I'm gonna do. Go live again. Okay. All right. Sorry, y'all. My apologies for being distracted by that. Okay, so what I was talking about is that we have been trained and programmed, right? That when you, if P, then Q, right? If you do this thing, then you will have this thing. If you work this many hours, you will make this much money because you're getting paid this per hour. If you eat right and exercise and blah, 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 insert right. So we have been conditioned that all of our circumstances are based on what we are or are not doing. Is that a fair statement? Would people agree with that? That that is the correlation that we typically make in our mind, even when it comes to manifestation. Okay, even when it comes to like, oh, I got to do my affirmations, or oh, I got to follow this routine, or I have to do this technique, or we create these correlations between what we're doing and then what we're experiencing. Okay, and this is not to completely dismiss and say what we're doing doesn't matter, right? Because of course it matters what we're doing. We need to be doing the right things at the right times. So, someone said what works. I'm not sure what you mean. But so when we have this correlation and we start to live our lives in this way and we're basing the things that we're doing on what is the result going to be versus, is this something that I truly enjoy? Is this something that is truly serving me? Is this something that is truly serving others? Instead of asking those very, very important questions, we ask ourselves, what is the tangible, measurable result that this is going to bring me? Okay. And so what we're doing is we are starting off with a limiting perspective in several ways. The first limit is that you're only focused on yourself, right? You're not focused on other people. You're not necessarily focused on the community. You're not focused globally, right? You're focused on me, my house, my car, my money, my family, my. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with wanting those things for yourself. However, if we could expand our awareness and start to be concerned and aware of, you know what, how can I manifest not just this for me and this for my family and this for my friends and this for the, how could I actually manifest this for other people as well? How could I help other people? How can I serve other people? How do you know if you don't experience what doesn't work? How do you know what if you don't experience what doesn't work? And I think I might know where you're going with that. That is actually a really good question. And we do need to experience what doesn't work, right? That's very important because it helps us to shape and refine what our desires are and what our preferences are, right? And the things that we would rather experience instead. So it is very important to experience what you don't want. But so, yes, God, And so we build this correlation, right? And what we neglect when we start to get so focused on, okay, I got to do this. I got to do this. If I affirm all day, if I listen to this subliminal, if I do this, if I do that, then I'll be able to manifest it. Or when things are not happening the way that we'd like them to happen, we take the blame for that. Oh, if I would have just done this, right? If that would have just only happened this way, if this would have only happened that way. And that is putting so much undue and unnecessary pressure on ourselves, because the reality, okay, is that when we come from manifesting in that way, we are still coming from survival. That is still an underlying fear vibration. Okay? So if we are creating all these conditions and all of these parameters around what must happen in order for some other circumstance to come, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of anxiety. And also it's not real. It's not real that I have to do this particular thing to get that particular outcome.
It's time for bed.
I know, Alexa, it's time for bed. The point is that we want to open up our perspective to understand, like, hey, you know what? This is what's happened to me before. I've done this thing before, and then I have gotten this result from it. Yes, vibration is crucial. I've done this thing before and I've gotten this result from it, right? But now that, so what you think is, okay, so if I don't do this thing, then I won't get this result, right? If I don't do this, there's a correlation now. So if I say I don't do it, then it's not going to happen. We want to open up our perspective to say, listen, I know that I've done it that way before and I got this result. And I know I didn't do something before and I got this result. But you know what? I'm actually open to the infinite possibilities of what could potentially happen. If I did something different, or if I don't do it that way this time, is there the same, if not a better result available for me? So being open that way and not manifesting from a reaction versus manifesting from the actual person that you're being, okay? And I'm going to give you an example of what I mean by that, okay? So someone says, so do you surrender to the outcome? Exactly. Yes, you absolutely surrender to the outcome. But the reason why you surrender to the outcome is a little bit different, is because, so you're jumping ahead. Yes, you surrender to the outcome. And the long story short answer with that is you surrender to the outcome because creation is finished and the outcome has already happened. The reason why the outcome is not manifested yet is because you are limiting the outcome with all of your restrictions about what has to happen. As human beings, we tend to get very tied up in the how, right? And our preoccupation with the how limits us magnanimously, all right? Because the thing is, surrender is a key word, right? It's a buzzword, like, oh, I'm going to surrender. And then, but it's like we surrender, right? But then we're still checking, but then we're still looking, but then we're still, you know what I mean? That's not a real surrender. Okay. So when I'm discussing surrendering is this. Hey, you know what? I would love for this thing to happen. It would be amazing. It would make me so happy. It would be magnificent. However, if it doesn't happen, I'll still be okay. You know what? I'll be just fine. As a matter of fact, I'll be better than fine. And why will I be better than fine? Because what I'm about to talk about now in terms of this mistake that we're making with manifestation, because I will be fine because I am going to stop believing that I have to do or be something other than I am right now to already be perfect, to already be enough, to already be whole, to already be successful. Okay? I hope that made sense how I just tied that in. So surrendering is you are surrendering into the knowing that you are already enough right now. You are already successful right now. You are already perfect right now, whether this goal that you have happens or not. Right? Because the thing is that energetically, when we want something really, really bad to happen, right? Now that didn't sound right the way I said it. When we're putting a lot of effort and energy into, I'm trying to manifest this thing. I want to make $100,000 a month. I'm trying to get this, I'm trying to do this thing, and whatever the thing is, and we are very preoccupied with micromanaging how it's coming to pass versus being open to divine direction and guidance that is given to us through the things that we naturally are drawn to. Okay, we're naturally in the midst of exactly trying to force to know, regardless of the conditions being met or not. Exactly. Because here's the beautiful thing about the beautiful gift that God had given to humanity, right? We have something called imagination. Okay. And our imagination is such a powerful gift. It's a gift that we take for granted. It's a gift that we use all day, every day, y'all. We are constantly imagining. Our limiting beliefs are imagination. Our belief that, oh, I have to post every day, 3 times a day, that is imagination, right? Any thought that you can think of, any belief that you have is actually a figment of your imagination. Is this making sense what I'm saying? Like, we are already living through our imagination as human beings. That is the gift that we have as humans, to have this faculty of mind that can go within itself and be aware of infinite different scenarios, infinite possibilities, infinite opportunities, infinite scenarios, right? If I tell everybody, hey, close your eyes and imagine yourself washing off an apple and getting a knife and cutting the apple and then taking a bite into it, right? Everybody can close their eyes and literally see that. You can almost experience that. You can feel the water, you can hear it, you can feel the crunch when you bite it, you can feel the vibration when you cut it, right? So we are already always using our imagination to color what's happening, okay? So, sorry, I went off on a little tangent about that, but back to what I was talking about. So when we're trying to manifest by doing something, we are completely taking out of the equation who we're being while we're manifesting, right? So when you think about someone that's selling something, right? Are you more prone to go to the person who who are you more naturally attracted to or magnetized to? The person that looks happy and content and they're just sitting there and they are basically embodying what it is that you would like to have for yourself, or the person that's running up to you like, hey, listen, I got to tell you about this thing I got. It's so cool. It does this and it does that and it can do this, and they start giving you all these promises. Like, you are naturally going to be drawn to the person who is leaned back in their energy, right? Who is just there to help, to have a good time, to show up, to be authentically themselves, to be confident within themselves, to be happy within themselves, right? We don't like that pressure of feeling like, hey, this person needs me to say yes to this sale to be okay, like to balance out this interaction, right? So the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm trying to make an illustration about how energy works, right? So it's the same thing with the things that we're trying to manifest, right? We're trying to run up to our manifestations like, hey, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to start doing this morning routine. I'm going to do these techniques. And then I'm going to start doing my 3-6-9 method. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do this. And the manifestation's like, bruh, I need you to chill, right? Like, just relax, okay? Versus, right? Now here's the metaphor for the salesperson that's in their vibe, right? That's what we embody when we start to understand that we have God within us and that we already are fulfilled. We already are whole. We already are complete. Why? Because we come from God. What else could we possibly need other than to just be? Having a bigger house, a bigger bank account, a bigger car, a smaller body, anything that you can quantify outside of yourself has not a god doggone thing to do with who you truly are, or what your value is, or what your power is, or what your impact can be, right? None of those things have any bearing on that. So the thing is, our belief that those external things do mean something about us, that's what allows us to come from that survival mode place of fear, because we're like, oh, once I get this, then I'll be qualified. Once I do this, then once I weigh this much, then I'll be beautiful. Once I have this degree, then I'll be smart. Once I am in this relationship, then I'll be valuable in society. Like, we have all of these correlations again about what our actions and what our achievements and what everything external to us means about us, right? And that is what causes us to suffer. And it's also what repels and pushes those things away from us, because the underlying energy of that fear is insecurity. And it's really saying is, wow, I don't think I'm enough. Wow, I don't think I'm worthy. Wow, I don't think I'm perfect. Wow, I don't think I'll ever be successful, right? These are the limiting beliefs that this is starting to uncover. So the shift, right, is again, recognizing who you are first. Let go of all, this is where the surrender comes in. I have this conversation with my client all the time. Yes, it's a very important conversation to have. So someone brought up the topic of surrender, right? And surrender is important, but maybe not in the way that you may first think, right? Because when we hear the word surrender, we think of, oh, give up, oh, I got to be okay without it. Okay, I guess I'm not going to have it. And surrender, to me, what I've learned throughout my journey, and I'm continuing to learn, is that surrender is more so about that's always the first step in surrender. Shut the fuck up. Okay? First step in surrender, be quiet, because it's only in the quiet that you can be aware of what you need to surrender, right? You got to be aware of what the program is running in your mind. It is so underrated. Not enough people fucking do it. In order to surrender, you have to be quiet. If you are not quiet, you are not surrendered. When you're quiet, intentionally quiet, you are learning how to surrender yourself from your limiting inner dialogue. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time. The first place we have to discipline and train ourselves to surrender is with our own inner narrative, inner dialogue that's happening, sometimes monologue. Right? We have to learn how to first shut up, so we're not distracted away from, wow, my inner narrative is saying some really limiting, crazy stuff right now that makes me feel like this is just pointless and it's never going to happen for me. People are too busy running from themselves to surrender, unfortunately. And that's what my goal and one of the intentions of my work is, to help people to stop doing that. Because we all want to live a fulfilled life. Every single person that is on this planet came here with a divine assignment, with a divine purpose. All of us. No one is here without that. That's the whole point, is that we come from God. We have a divine assignment. We have a divine purpose. And so because we know that, we're already enough. We're enough before the title, before the label, before the money, before the physique, before the material, before the physical, before anything physical, before our bodies formed. We were already enough. Okay? Yes, shutting up is half the battle. Okay? So when we learn how to be quiet, right? Let me blow this up so I can see this better. I got some notes here, but I don't have my glasses on. So coming at the manifestation, or viewing your desires, right, as something that's inevitable. Okay? And understanding that this is not about what I'm doing, but it's about who I'm being. Am I being the person, right? Because here's the thing about God consciousness and why it's the hack to manifestation. Okay? Because, we've all heard, okay, you got to become the person, you got to act as if, you have to, you have to imagine scenes from this version of yourself and all these things, right? But God consciousness gives us an identity of openness. Because God consciousness to me is basically saying, hey, instead of just solely being Megan consciousness today, I'm going to be God consciousness today, which means, yes, I'm still Megan, but Megan isn't trying to control and lead and dictate how God is expressed through her. Megan is open and surrendered to God guiding her how God wants to be expressed through her. I hope that made sense what I just said. It's taking the ego and having it be in subservience to the spirit that lives within all of us, okay? The divine substance that we are all made of. Yes, God. So when we are that, right, when we are that version, or that God consciousness version of ourselves, everything is perfect, right? Because we are identifying with God. So it doesn't matter what happens. If it happens, good. If it doesn't happen, fine. Maybe it's not going to happen because something better is going to happen. But God already knows the desires of my heart. How? Because where else would they have come from but God, if God created me? As a human being that God created, where else could your desires have come from? Your innate, desires that you have deep in your heart. Wouldn't it be fair to say they had to come from God as well? So if we can accept that and say, okay, you know what? Because I have this desire and because I come from God, that means the desire came from God. That means it's probably already handled. And I just need to just trust and follow the yellow brick road down my divine assignment and down my divine path that God wants to express itself through as my life. Okay? So instead of focusing on what I want to manifest, right? It's okay to identify that initially, but then, okay, who am I being? Am I being the person who is already content, who's already fulfilled, who's already whole because I am one with God? And once I am the vessel that God can come through and attain, and I don't want to say attain, that can come through and circumstances shift to these desires, right? And that's the other thing too. We are such a society driven on instant gratification, instant results. Well, I've been doing this for 3 days. Why? Well, I've been doing this for 30 days. Well, I've been doing this for a year. Well, I've been doing this for 5 years. Guess what? Our time is not God's time. Our time is not God's time. Right? That's ego again, trying to control. I need this in 30 days. I need this in 90 days. I need this. And all of these rules and conditions and parameters on the how. Again, minding God's business. We got to stop minding God's business. You say what you want, ask, believe, receive. Okay? Deny, choose, be. There's several different frameworks. But it says in the Bible that when you ask, pray as all you already have it. Who's doing that? Are you doing that? Because I haven't always been doing that. I still struggle to do it sometimes. Actually having the posture that, hey, this is done. It's done. Because when you start to evolve and mature as a manifester, you start to understand that it's not the things that you're actually looking to manifest. It's actually the feelings that you believe the things are going to bring you. That is what you're truly trying to manifest. Okay? That is what your desires are truly stemming from. They are stemming from a state of being, a feeling state that you want to exist as. All right. And you believe that this thing is going to give me that feeling state, or that relationship is going to give me that feeling state, or this is going to give me that feeling state. And so instead of focusing on the feeling state, right, you go to the middleman, which is the circumstance that you believe is going to bring you the feeling state. Okay. So a more open and evolved way of manifesting is to go into your desires and really get to the bottom line of why. What is the feeling that it is you're looking for? You're looking to feel grateful about life. You're looking to feel relief. You're looking to feel contentment. You're looking to feel fulfillment. Guess what? You have access to all of those emotions right now through what we talked about earlier, the imagination, right? So this is how we start to shift into the identity, is we start to feel the feelings that the fulfilled version of us feels, right? Even without the circumstances having showed up yet. We don't have to see the circumstances show up yet to be grateful, to be fulfilled. And the way that we do this is we start to witness. Again, remember what step number 1 was? Shut the fuck up. We start to witness what the mind is telling us, what beliefs are being repeated over and over, and making the correlation between how those beliefs are making us feel. If we're feeling anxiety, if we're feeling depression, if we're feeling fear, right? Those are telltale signs that you immediately need to shut up, sit down, take some time to do some deep breathing, and pay closer attention to the thoughts that are fueling your emotional response. Okay? So awareness, right? Awareness is our number one tool, because once we can't change anything that we're not aware of, right? Is that a fair statement? We cannot change things we're not aware of. So the first step to changing, right, is to become aware, or to become intentional about our intention to be aware, right? And awareness is something that it's not just like, oh, I got awareness, now I'm good. No, this is a everyday, all day thing, right? Is practicing this neutrality of awareness too, because it's like you're aware of it. And then once you start to become aware of it, you release the inclination to judge yourself, right? So there's levels to it. Yes, God. So basically, all this to say that it's very important for us to pay attention to who we're being when we are trying to manifest something, right? And for me, what has been really effective is to go ahead and, yes, get clear about what I want to manifest for myself, but then put that somewhere and just be still and know that it's on its way. And the fastest way that it can get to me is through my service to other people. Okay, is through me becoming more obsessed with other people's problems and solving other people's problems than solving my own problems. Okay, I hope y'all just picked up what I put down. All right, becoming more obsessed with solving other people's problems versus solving my problem is the path to wealth. Okay, and this is the number one mistake with manifestation, is that we are focused on solving our problems only. Well, I need this and I need that and I need this and I need that. What do other people need? How about that? What do other people need? How are you in a position that you're serving other people right now? Are you using it to the best of, are you showing up with excellence? Right? Start to become a solution to other people's problems, not just your own. Okay? This is the number one mistake with manifestation, is that you're trying to solve your own problems and you're putting that as a priority over solving other people's problems. Yes, God. Okay? Someone says, I noticed I can't solve anyone else's until I solve my own. That is a very limiting belief. That's not true. How many problems do people have? Infinite. I'm sure there's something in your life that you know how to solve. And I'm sure that there's something that you can find that would benefit someone else. Right? We're not here to solve other people's problems that we haven't solved for ourselves yet. We're here to solve other people's problems that we have solved for ourselves yet. Some folks are too used to having others solve theirs. I mean, who's solving the problem, I guess, isn't really, let me make sure that I'm understanding what you're saying. I notice I can't solve anyone else's until I solve my own. Some folks are too used to having others solve their problems. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you meant by that, but it doesn't matter what other people do, right? What we're talking about tonight is how can we stop being frustrated because of the things that we want to manifest for ourselves are not coming into fruition. Okay, that's what the topic of this video is. Solving the problem doesn't equal enabling. Nothing good started happening to me until I assisted others. Exactly. Right. And one of the best ways that you can enjoy, okay, because it's not just about I want to solve other people's problems. I want to enjoy solving other people's problems. So find a problem that you solve that you actually enjoy helping other people solve, right? You may have heard of the Ikigai diagram, but it kind of shows all these different aspects of what you should be doing. You definitely should be enjoying it, right? It should be something that feels like a natural flow to you. So this is important as well. But in order for us to do that, we got to get out of this survival mode of, hey, I need this and I need this and I gotta for me. That is fear, and that is repellent, all right, to your desires. You have to give in order to receive. Exactly. And it's not, I want to caution instead of, I know that's a saying, and yes, that does apply to what I'm discussing. However, I don't want it to be, I want us to be mindful that we don't, again, believe that our action is tied to results, right? So when we're talking about giving and solving other people's problems, again, it's important for us to make sure that we're doing it in a way that feels natural to us. It's something that we would do for free anyways, right? Like my work, what I'm doing right now, having this conversation with you, I talk to my friends about this all the time. Like these are normal conversations that I have. And so it doesn't feel like work to me. It feels like something that I'm excited about, that I'm passionate about. You also have to do what you don't feel like doing sometimes. This is true. You do have to do what you don't feel like doing sometimes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. You do. It's not always like, oh, it feels great, so I'm just going to do it. However, what our prayer needs to be is, God, show me how I can better enjoy the things that I have to do, right? We can start to shift our perspective about what we don't enjoy, right? Or what we don't like to do, because one version of us could not like to do it, but the other version of us could be like, wow, I love that I have the opportunity to do this. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to do this. Okay. I understand what you mean. I spent most of my 20s being so privileged and selfish. My 30s humbled me, and now I am looking for God's work to serve others. Yes, God. And the thing is, right, like be open again to the ways and don't mind God's business and say, oh, well, it has to be this way or that way. Like if you want to serve and you don't have a business or you don't know what problem you solve for people, go down to a soup kitchen. Your service doesn't always have to be something that comes from your creation, right? Sometimes service looks like your job and showing up to your job on time and having gratitude for the job and treating people with kindness and respect, right? So it's not always about, okay, I have to give, money, or I have to give to be an entrepreneur. I have to do, again, we be mindful of adding all these conditions onto things. Service is service, okay? Whether you are a crosswalk guard at an elementary school, whether you are volunteering on your children's school field trip, like these are the ways in which not minding God's business serves us, okay? Because on that field trip, right, who knows who you could meet, who knows what relationship and connection, okay, is now going to manifest into an opportunity for you to serve even more, right? And we know what the correlation is. The more we serve, right, the more we receive. Okay, the more we serve, the more we're putting ourselves in position to allow God to express itself through our lives. Now our territory gets bigger and bigger. So don't think it always has to be something that you came up with that you're solving a problem. Look to solve people's problems, period. You don't need to worry about the compensation, right? That's the other thing that we do, this instant gratification. Well, how much am I getting paid? Well, that doesn't seem like you're really trying to serve me. It seems like you're trying to still focus back on what am I getting out of it? Well, what am me, right? Back to me again. All right. So I hope that this conversation was helpful. If you want support on your journey, we do have the spiritual gym. And we meet bi-weekly, and we have beautiful calls, and we have a lot of material in there already recorded about how we can start to embody our divine self and let go of ego telling God how things need to go, and be open to God utilizing ego as the tool that it's meant to be to express our divine purpose on this earth. Okay. If no one has any questions or concerns or comments, I am going to go ahead and end this for tonight. I hope everyone is having a beautiful summer. I hope that you are enjoying yourself. I hope that you are being grateful. And I hope that you are being aware of yourself and being aware and mindful of all of the amazing, amazing gifts that you've been given, whether it's the ability to breathe unassisted, the ability to see the screen that you're looking at right now, the ability to hear, the ability to walk, the ability to bend our elbows and our knees. These are serious, serious blessings. All right. So again, my name's Megan. This is Yes God Wellness. I will talk to you all soon, and have an amazing, amazing rest of your night and weekend. Yes, God.